And at this moment in hockey history, we pause, recap, and reflect all things Milwaukee Admirals. I'd like to start by going back to the regular season. The Central Division concluded with the Texas Stars winning the Central Division. They ended up with 92 points overall. The Milwaukee Admirals finished second in the Central Division. After 72 games skated in the regular season, the Admirals had a record of 41-24, 5-2, good for 89 points, finished 3 points behind the Texas Stars. The Milwaukee Admirals scored 238 goals on the season, gave up 211 goals against. The rest of the Central Division regular season standings, so we had Texas and Milwaukee first and second. The Manitoba Moose finished in third place with 84 points. The Iowa Wild, 79 points in fourth place. The Rockford Ice Hogs in fifth place. The Chicago Wolves in sixth. And the Grand Rapids Griffins finished in seventh place in the Central Division. And it was Texas, Milwaukee, Manitoba, Iowa, and Rockford all qualifying for the Calder Cup playoffs. Now, for the Milwaukee Admirals in the regular season, the goals for 3.31 per game was sixth best overall in the AHL, while goals against at 2.93 was eighth best in the AHL. The shots for category 30 was 17th best in the league. In shots against, 31.1 is 23rd overall in the American Hockey League for the regular season. Now, on the special teams, Milwaukee Admirals had a very impressive regular season. Their power play converted at 29.6%, which was best overall in the AHL. 56 out of 228 opportunities. The penalty kill finished third overall in the American Hockey League, 84.3% kill rate, 36 power play goals against. When it came to regular season statistics of the individual players, it was Schneider finishing with 25 goals, which was most on the Admirals, 26 assists and 51 points. The 51 points, of course, is the team lead. Leonard finished with 17 goals and 27 assists for 44 points. Luke Evangelista, 9 goals and 32 assists on the season for 41 points. Those 32 assists represent the number one overall on the Admirals. Sherwood, 22 goals and 16 assists for 38 points. Gross, 10 and 28 for 38. Philip Tomasino, 12 goals and 20 assists for 32 points. And Mark Delgado, 3 goals, 28 assists for 31 points overall on the season. When it comes to in net, Yaroslav Skarov was 26, 16, and 5 with a 9.11 save percentage and a 2.69 goals against average. Now, one of the big storylines of the regular season for the Milwaukee Admirals was how many players the parent club, the Nashville Predators, needed to utilize and rely upon with the dismantling, the trades, and the numerous amounts of injuries at the NHL level. So, returning at the end of the regular season, a number of these players had gained significant NHL experience. Luke Evangelista ended up playing in 24 goals. Mark Jankowski ended up playing in 50 games for the Nashville Predators. Michael McCarron in 32, Sanford 32 games, Sherwood 16, Phil Tomasino 31, and all of those players put up collective numbers of points. As a matter of fact, returning back to the Milwaukee Admirals at the end of the regular season for the Calder Cup playoffs, there was a combination of 30 goals and 35 assists for 65 points returning from the NHL and 193 games of experience. Luke Evangelista had 15 points at the NHL level. Mark Jankowski had 12. Michael McCarron had 4. Mark Sanford had 13. Sherwood had 3. And Tomasino had 18 points at the NHL level before returning to the Milwaukee Admirals and an opportunity to face off against the Manitoba Moose in the first round of the playoffs for the Milwaukee Admirals. We'll recap everything that happened with the playoffs coming up in the next segment, but that's where the Milwaukee Admirals in the Central Division wrapped up in the regular season. On this episode of the Renegades of Puck podcast that's dedicated to recapping and looking back on all things Admirals, an impressive regular season. If the Admirals could have just done 3 points better, they would have won the Central Division, but still a second place finish was quite good, and you will find that they will be the last team standing in the Central Division once we get to the playoff recap coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.